Today, we're delving into a topic that few investors truly consider in depth, yet it might be one of the most critical conversations in this entire journey. It's about looking beyond the big moment and preparing for every possible scenario. So many people in this community focus all their energy on that incredible day when the revaluation, or RV, finally arrives and changes their lives. The anticipation of that moment is a powerful driving force, motivating investors to hold on to their currency despite years of speculation and criticism. But that singular focus on a future date can lead to a dangerous oversight. While the dream of revaluation is a beautiful one, it's crucial to ask uncomfortable but necessary questions. What if the timeline doesn't unfold as you expect? What if the road to revaluation stretches much further into the future than anyone has anticipated? What if there are more years of waiting and more delays that nobody thought were possible? These questions are not meant to be pessimistic. They are a call to responsible action. Financial preparation is never just about hoping for the best. It's also about protecting yourself from the unexpected and ensuring your position is never weakened by the one factor you cannot control. Time can be your greatest ally, giving you space to plan, strategize, and strengthen your financial foundation. Or it can become your greatest enemy if you do nothing but wait. The investors who truly thrive in this space aren't the ones who gamble everything on a specific when, but the ones who plan diligently for whatever. They understand that a diligent plan is the true mark of a responsible investor. This is about building a durable foundation, not just waiting for the stars to align. True readiness is about having a complete and actionable plan. The market is filled with conflicting reports and endless rumors. Some analysts passionately argue that the revaluation is just a year or two away, citing political developments, banking reforms, and international agreements as evidence that the finish line is in sight. They point to positive signs like Iraq's strengthening economy, shifts in monetary policy, and progress toward financial transparency, suggesting these are clear indicators that the RV is on the horizon. It is easy to get caught up in the excitement and hope that these signals provide. On the other hand, a different perspective urges caution. These voices suggest that deeper systemic issues within Iraq and the global financial system could push the timeline much further into the future, perhaps a decade or more. With such a wide range of predictions, the average investor is often left feeling confused, frustrated, and even paralyzed. It becomes easy to swing from exhilaration to discouragement in a matter of hours, depending on the latest rumor. The simple truth, which every responsible investor must come to terms with, is that no one knows the exact date or time of the revaluation. History has shown us that speculation can rise and fall with political cycles, economic reports, and even fleeting news headlines that have no lasting impact. Many investors have been on this path for years, some for over a decade, faithfully holding their dinar and waiting for the promised transformation. As the years pass, it becomes increasingly clear that this journey is not just a test of patience. It's a test of your ability to manage expectations, navigate uncertainty, and most importantly, ensure that the unknown future does not catch you unprepared. Investors who recognize this truth free themselves from the exhausting cycle of rumor chasing. Instead, they shift their energy to proactive preparation, planning, and strategy. By changing the question from, "When will it happen?" to "How ready will I be when it does?" you gain power over the uncertainty. This shift in mindset is what separates those who passively wait from those who will ultimately thrive when the day finally arrives. This message is not about pessimism. It's about responsibility and protection. A smart investor knows that while optimism is essential, blind optimism without a backup plan can lead to unnecessary risks. Whether the revaluation happens tomorrow, next year, or a decade from now, your role is to ensure your investment is protected and structured in a way that you and your loved ones will benefit, no matter what timeline unfolds. This means taking practical steps today, like securing your physical currency, documenting its ownership, creating a succession plan, and considering the tax and legal implications of a significant financial event. It means recognizing that wealth, once acquired, is only valuable if it is preserved and passed down effectively. The reality is that we cannot control external forces, but we can absolutely control how prepared we are. Preparation is what separates those who merely hope from those who truly build a lasting foundation. So instead of just imagining the celebration that will come after the revaluation, it is time to also imagine the pathway between now and then. Ask yourself, how do I protect my investment today? How do I ensure my family benefits if the timeline stretches? What steps must I take so that no matter when the day comes, I am ready to maximize the opportunity? That is the true mark of a responsible investor. The biggest challenge in this journey isn't just the waiting itself, but the uncertainty that surrounds every step. If this process takes another 10 years to unfold, many of us will be in very different stages of life. Some investors may be in retirement. Others may be transitioning careers. Sadly, some may not even be here to personally witness the outcome of their patience and commitment. That is a sobering reality that we cannot afford to ignore. It brings up crucial questions. What happens to your physical currency if something happens to you before the revaluation? Who exactly receives it and under what circumstances? Perhaps even more importantly, how much of that potential wealth will be consumed by taxes, probate fees, attorney bills, and the slow-moving machinery of government bureaucracy? Without clear direction, what begins as a life-changing asset for your family could quickly turn into a financial burden, tangled in lengthy legal battles. Assets that are not properly structured or assigned can become tied up in probate courts, dragging through expensive and time-consuming processes that can last for months or even years. Along the way, significant portions of your intended legacy can disappear due to estate taxes, inheritance taxes, or capital gains taxes, stripping away value long before a single dollar ever reaches the people you wanted to bless. What was meant to be a foundation for generational wealth could shrink dramatically, leaving loved ones with only a fraction of what you had envisioned. This reality is precisely why estate planning is not a luxury, but an essential step that cannot be put off. It's not something to consider someday after the revaluation has happened. Proper estate planning ensures that your wealth transitions smoothly, privately, and efficiently, bypassing the very problems that rob families of both peace and prosperity. At the heart of modern estate planning is one of the most powerful and often misunderstood tools available: the trust. Too many people mistakenly believe that trusts are reserved exclusively for the ultra-wealthy, for billionaires and celebrities whose estates fill the headlines. This assumption is far from the truth. Trusts aren't only for those who already possess extraordinary wealth. They are for anyone who aspires to build wealth, protect it, and keep it secure for the long term. In fact, the earlier and more strategically a trust is created, the stronger its impact will be. A trust is a legal structure designed to hold your assets, whether currency, property, or investments, on behalf of your chosen beneficiaries. When you place your dinar holdings into a trust, you are not giving up ownership. You are establishing a legal fortress around them. This fortress creates separation from your personal estate, which shields your assets from creditors, courts, and the unnecessary complications that otherwise erode value. Most importantly, a trust guarantees that your wishes are honored exactly as you designed them, ensuring that your family or chosen beneficiaries receive not only the wealth itself, but also the security, privacy, and dignity that come with a plan executed on your terms. One of the greatest and most practical advantages of creating a trust is its ability to help you avoid the painful, costly, and often public process known as probate. Probate is the legal system's method of validating a will and settling an estate. While it may sound straightforward in practice, it can be one of the most draining experiences your loved ones may ever face. The probate process is notoriously slow, dragging on for months and, in some cases, even years. During this time, your family may not be able to access the very assets you worked so hard to leave them. Imagine your spouse or children being unable to pay bills, cover educational costs, or maintain their stability simply because the court has frozen access to what is rightfully theirs. Probate is also incredibly expensive, involving court costs, attorney fees, appraisers, and additional tax implications, all of which steadily eat away at the estate's value. Another downside that too few people consider is how public the probate process truly is. Everything becomes part of the public record, from what you owned, who you left it to, and how disputes were handled. This lack of privacy can invite unwanted attention, potential disputes among family members, and even predatory behavior from outsiders who suddenly know the details of your financial life. By contrast, a properly established trust bypasses all of these headaches. Your chosen successor trustee simply steps in the moment they are needed and carries out your instructions immediately, privately and efficiently. There are no court delays, no wasted money, and no unnecessary stress. Instead, your legacy is transferred exactly as you intended, with dignity and discretion, shielding your family from the burdens that so often come when probate is left to decide the outcome. But let's address What many consider to be the biggest elephant in the room: taxes. When the long-awaited revaluation finally arrives, the value of your Iraqi dinar could skyrocket overnight, creating an extraordinary windfall that may instantly shift you into a completely different financial category. While that sounds like the blessing we have all been waiting for, it is also the moment when the government will take a keen interest in your newfound wealth. Without proper preparation, a staggering percentage of that gain could be lost to capital gains taxes, inheritance taxes, or even estate taxes if the assets are passed on after your death. Many investors, eager for the payoff, rarely pause to calculate just how much the IRS or their local tax authority could claim before their family ever sees a dime. The painful truth is that failing to plan for taxes could easily strip away half or more of your hard-earned fortune. Yet the good news is that these outcomes are not inevitable. With the right type of trust and proactive planning, these tax burdens can be legally minimized, and in some cases avoided altogether. This is not about shady practices or illegal tax evasion. It is about the smart, ethical, and strategic use of financial tools that the wealthiest families in the world have relied on for generations to preserve their wealth. Think of it this way: neglecting to plan for taxes is like building a beautiful home but forgetting to put on the roof. The moment the storm arrives, everything you worked for inside that home is suddenly at risk of damage or destruction. The key to overcoming this challenge is not guesswork or relying on casual advice from unqualified individuals. The key is seeking the right professional expertise. One of the most common and costly mistakes people make is walking into their local bank and asking a banker for estate or tax planning guidance. It is critical to understand that bank employees are not estate planning attorneys, nor are they tax strategists. Their primary role is to sell the bank's financial products, which may or may not align with your personal goals or best interests. Depending on their incentives, they might recommend accounts or investments that generate revenue for the bank while doing little to protect you from long-term tax exposure. What you truly need is an asset protection attorney, someone who lives and breathes the complexities of trusts, tax law, and wealth transfer strategies. These professionals work for you, not a bank. Their purpose is to craft a plan uniquely tailored to your assets, your family, and your long-term vision. By sitting down with such an expert, you can establish a legal and tax structure that maximizes the wealth you keep while ensuring it passes to your loved ones efficiently. The investment you make today in securing professional legal guidance will pay for itself many times over in the future, saving your family not only countless headaches but also potentially millions in unnecessary taxes and losses when the revaluation finally becomes a reality. Ultimately, this entire conversation is not just about money, and it is important to step back and recognize that fact. Yes, financial gain is the reason many of us entered this journey in the first place. And yes, the dream of life-changing wealth after revaluation has kept people motivated through years of uncertainty. But estate planning, wealth structuring, and proactive preparation are not merely financial exercises. They are deeply personal acts of love, responsibility, and foresight. When you sit down to create a plan, you are not only accounting for dollars and cents. You are making decisions about the people you love, the causes you care about, and the values you want to carry forward into the future. Planning represents a shift in mindset from being a passive speculator who simply waits for something to happen to becoming an intentional wealth builder who actively designs the future they wish to see. True, wealth is not measured solely by the size of a bank account or the number of assets on a balance sheet. It is measured by the peace of mind that comes from knowing your family will be cared for no matter what. Your wishes will be honored without confusion or conflict, and your legacy will endure beyond your lifetime. That peace of mind is invaluable because it liberates you from the daily anxieties that weigh so heavily on many in this community. By creating a plan today, you free yourself from constant worry about, what if the RV takes longer than expected? Or what if I'm not here to see it? Instead of living in fear of the unknown, you gain the confidence that you have already safeguarded tomorrow. That confidence allows you to focus your energy on the positive developments coming out of Iraq, analyzing breaking news, engaging with this community, and nurturing your personal growth without the constant distraction of wondering whether your family's future is secure. Estate planning in its purest form is not a burden but a gift. The sooner it is embraced, the sooner peace of mind becomes part of the journey. It is not about dry paperwork or legal terms alone. It is about love expressed in a practical form, foresight turned into action, and responsibility made tangible. When viewed through that lens, planning is not just preparation for wealth, but preparation for a life lived with purpose, clarity, and freedom. It transforms speculation into strategy, hope into certainty, and dreams into a durable reality. The truth is simple, and it is a truth too many investors learn too late. The revaluation may be the event we are all waiting for, but planning is the work we must do today if we truly want to be ready. No one can predict the exact day or hour when revaluation will occur, but everyone can decide how prepared they will be when that moment finally arrives. Without a plan, the best day of your financial life could also become the most complicated, stressful, or wasteful. With a plan, however, that same day becomes the beginning of something powerful, a legacy that outlives you, one that strengthens your family for generations. Do not fall into the trap of waiting until after the revaluation to think about these things, because by then, it may be too late to implement the strategies that could save you and your heirs untold amounts of wealth. Governments, banks, and institutions move quickly in times of financial change, and those who are unprepared often find themselves making rushed decisions under pressure. Preparation is the fortress, and every fortress must be built before the battle begins, not during it. Building that fortress means documenting your wishes with clarity, selecting the right trustee, consulting the right professionals, and putting your assets into structures that guarantee strength and stability regardless of timing. It also means educating yourself about tax law, inheritance issues, charitable giving, and long-term asset protection. These steps are not glamorous, but they are the foundation of security. If you wait until the storm has already arrived, the damage will already be done, and opportunities may vanish before your eyes. But if you build now, before the first lightning strikes you and your loved ones can weather anything with confidence. A wise investor does not wait for the clock to strike. They prepare in advance, ensuring that when the moment finally comes, they are not scrambling, but celebrating. They know that true readiness is not measured by holding currency alone, but by having a complete plan for what to do with it. Don't wait for the moment to pass. Build your fortress today and ensure that when the revaluation comes, whether tomorrow, next year, or 10 years from now, you and your family are ready to receive it in full. Preparation gives you more than financial security. It gives you emotional stability, peace of mind, and the assurance that your hard work and patience will not be wasted. With the right foundation in place. Revaluation is not just a financial event, but the opening chapter of a secure, intentional, and meaningful legacy. This is what it means to be a truly smart investor, to act with foresight, to plan with responsibility, and to build a future that is not left to chance.